Hilkot Teshuvah 3:4 from the Rambam's Mishneh Torah. Even though the sounding of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah is a decree, it contains an illusion. It is as if the shofar's call is saying, "Wake up, you sleepy ones, from your sleep, and you who slumber, arise, inspect your deeds, repent, remember your Creator." Those who forget the truth and the vanities of time and throughout the entire year devote their energies to vanity and emptiness, which will not benefit or save. Look to your souls, improve your ways and your deeds, and let every one of you abandon his evil path and thoughts. Didn't take me too long to figure out what that dead chicken was trying to show me. I mean, immediately I knew the obvious things. I haven't done full teshuvah for all the theft that I've committed. And I doubt I will ever. I know I will never be able to repay, all the probably thousands of people that I've stole something from over the course of my life. The thing that came to mind the most was the largest sum that I owe as far as a monetary debt. There's something else I should talk about with the going to the monetary debt thing, but the more important thing, the immediate thing, like in relation to time, that I was fortunate enough to be shown this morning when I was thinking about what that, there has to be something else that dead chicken was, So I know about the being Gary Ganav of being a thief. I was, hopefully something I can eventually be granted the strength to rectify. But the immediate thing was from yesterday. See, everyone that, at least everyone that has knowledge of the Creator and is trying to be in line with what his what he commands of us, thinks that they run to fulfill his will. But if that were entirely the case, the world would be a totally different place than it is right now. That should be pretty obvious, because there's a lot of people that think they believe in the Creator, or maybe they, most of them do, but it's just not the right Creator, not the one true Creator. And even those that do, that to whatever degree or however accurately or correct that is, they still don't wholly, their will isn't wholly in line with theirs, or with the Creator's will. And we are so often led astray thinking that we're running to perform mitzvot, to fulfill His will and do good. When the whole time there was at least some portion of the Satan, of the evil inclination, dragging us into blindly commit a sin. And only afterwards are we, hopefully, are we made aware of our faults and our transgressions and exactly where it was that we went wrong. And I mean, this particular thing isn't necessarily it's not really a sin for the goyim, because we aren't commanded to say blessings. But one thing that I've learned is I'm not sure, exactly how intensely this applies, but there's a rule of thirds, so to say, where even something that a person is not commanded to fulfill, if they take it upon themselves and they do, whatever it is they do 3 times, like in a successive manner, they kind of make a vow with their acts, with creation as a witness for those acts, and then they're kind of they're bound to keep following that additional level that they place for themselves. And the only way around that is going to be pretty impossible for most people, especially outside of a Jewish community, to get out of. So you have to I can't remember what the Hebrew word is for it, but you basically have to have I think I know it's at least 2 kosher witnesses, but it might be more. And you have to write a document and profess your that you want to you want to break this vow that you made. But I don't want to break the vow of being grateful. And so yesterday, in my rush to share an amazing moment, I'm not used to going out and doing things too regularly in the first place, and just the fact of being outside of my comfort zone, where I have a process of offenses that I put up for myself, and for ways to remind myself that of things to do, so I'm reminded of my obligations that I've put upon myself, in addition to just the general obligations that we're all supposed to keep to whatever degree that the Torah demands of us. When I'm out in the world, a lot of times I forget because there's so many other things that are I'm trying to have to keep in my mind, like don't look around, stare at the floor, like get in, get out. Don't look at people. Try not to judge them. Try to, pray for everyone to do teshuva, and hopefully God has mercy and doesn't wipe us off the face of the earth. But occasionally, if that's one reason why I don't really like to go out. And when I do, I don't like to buy anything to eat or drink. At least not most of the time. Because if I'm distracted, I know I won't. I'll have a much higher likelihood of not being grateful. I'll not do what I should. And so even though my transgression wasn't really a sin from the Torah outright for goyim, it was because I, there's things that I have taken upon myself, and even as good as that moment was, there was still just a little bit of pride, which is disgusting and filthy. And so I should have had my neck wrung and been half stuffed in the dirt. No, for anyone that doesn't know what dead chicken I'm talking about, there's a video I posted yesterday after I got back. At first I thought it was just like a chicken wing and a leg, but it was a whole chicken. Whole chicken. There's some animal killed, and they just buried in, did as best a job, I guess, as they could manage at the time. Didn't get it quite all in the ground. But I should have had my neck wrung and been planted half in the dirt. Probably tens of thousands of times by now. If not more. See, just like wow, just like it's amazing and wonderful to get the opportunity to do a mitzvot and being rewarded with another one when you see it. It's also so wonderful to see your flaws and your sins laid out so clearly before you, so that I can do teshuva. And when God gives you that mercy and that opportunity, you got to grab it right away. Like, if it's hard, you got to dig deep And then just do whatever you can to return. Admit that you failed. Be sorry. Actually, I think the process that the Rambam lists is different. I think it's admit that you failed, beg for forgiveness. Or maybe, it's admit that you failed, commit to stopping the sin, beg for forgiveness, and then feel sorry. And then, or no, put up fences to prevent yourself from committing the sin again, and then feel sorry. Feeling sorry is mentioned last because most of the time that's the way it works, especially for the really horrible sins we commit. Because a person can admit that they did wrong, but even then, at first, unless the person's already started doing teshuvah in general, they really don't know why what they did was wrong. Other than, that's what some book and some old guys say. So there's at first there's a certain process where a person just has to go through the motions and follow the process until they get to a point where they understand, or start to understand, like the weight of what they've done or what they're doing, and the how and why for all of what's listed out. Not just in the process of teshuvah, but the entire Torah. Only after a person cleans themselves a little bit from the filth, and they get out of the stench of the sewer and the garbage pile that they lived in for so long, can they really understand and appreciate what it all means, and only then can they really be sorry for what they did. And really, once a person starts to get some rudimentary connection back to the source of everything, however much that is for each person, once they start to establish that, then it's really really possible for a person to be sorry, because then they understand how damaging their acts are, because they feel it. They feel because their soul gets reconnected to the source of everything good, back to God. And it hurts really bad when it gets when it either gets severed, God forbid, or gets diminished greatly. You can feel it, and you just feel like you are such a huge disappointment and failure. But hopefully that's a temporary thing. I mean, a person needs that feeling in order to shame. That's the other one. A person has to be ashamed, not just feel sorry, but ashamed. Thank you. This creation is such a beautiful and amazing place. But a person needs the shame, because if they don't have, there's, like I mentioned numerous times, everything has a purpose in this world, and as hard as it is to see it, it's all for good. Because without horrible things, without evil things, without uncomfortable things, people left to their own devices would be we would just destroy things really, really bad. Like way worse than the times where God brought the judgment harshly for the entire world before and wiped nearly everything off the face of the earth. We would screw it up even worse than that, which is hard to believe. But if it wasn't for all these things that most people really don't like, that would be the reality. I think I mentioned that losing a person losing their money is a substitute for having their life taken. There's another thing that is just as valuable a tool if a person wants any mercy to stay in this world after all the crimes that they've committed. And if it ever happens to you or me, to acknowledge that it's good and to just soak it in, and absolutely not to react to whatever physical human being that you perceive as a source of this embarrassment and shame, and to acknowledge that it's God in His infinite mercy just using a really not nice person as a vessel to humiliate you and just rip you to shreds in the middle of the street with their tongue and their words. Being humiliated is one way that God shows His infinite mercy as a substitution for plucking a soul out of the world and giving people another chance to have a little bit more time to wake up and do teshuvah. I wish I had a shofar I could accurately blow to. That's the point of the shofar, like the Rambam says, is to blast the horn. And it's supposed to be done like by someone that has the ability to push a massive amount of air through there, so it comes out loud. So the vibration and physicality shakes the body, and then therefore wakes the soul up and gets them to return to their God. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, that I learned from Rabbi Alon Anava about the damage that was done to the soul in with the sin of the tree. So many of the physical connections that the soul had to the body got severed. But one of the only ones that didn't was smell, and also I mean, I don't have a direct source for this other than what, inferring one thing from another by what wasn't affected by the sin, and wasn't mentioned by Rabbi Elon Anava that was. Through eating the fruit of the tree, Chava and Adam and all the rest of the humans throughout, all the people throughout history, had their the connection from the physical body to the soul severed in the mouth, and through the eyes, and through touch. And he specifically said that smell wasn't affected. That's why smells are so powerful. And a person has to try as best they can not to smell disgusting things, especially when they learn the Torah. But also sound. Really, it's really that act, as wrong as it was for Chava to have gone against God's will and to listen to the snake's whisperings. The really wrong thing was not owning up to it, not saying, I'm sorry. And also Adam, he blamed it on Chava, even though he did it of his own free will. And rather than Chava taking responsibility and doing teshuvah and asking for forgiveness, she blamed it on the snake, rather than, and that's what everyone does almost all the time. Some people do it, a lot more often than others, and some do it, you know, not very much at all. It's just a natural human response to blame someone else other than themselves and to run from a self-accounting. But really, the act, you know, this I don't have a source for this. This is just something that I've reasoned out, which could be 100% wrong. So don't live by anything. A person should live by the Torah, not by the words of some fool on the internet. But if that severing of a connection wouldn't have happened, I don't think people would have made it in this world with I mean, we would have if we wouldn't have known good and evil. If there was only good. But without the severing of the connection with the presence of evil in this world, I don't think we would have been able to withstand it. The impact of the things that we see and that we taste and that we feel are so hard to overcome as it is. Without that direct connection to the soul, I think we would be just absolutely destroyed and have no fate other than to be like I said, destroyed in the pit, the seventh level of Gehenna, because of how corrupted the soul would become from such a close, intimate way of being affected by all the filth in this world. It's getting cold out here. I need to move around some and try to get something to eat and try to get some more work done. But I pray God has the mercy to allow you to see the dead chickens and the car accidents and the mass murder and catastrophes around you and in front of you before, so that you can do teshuvah, and so that I can keep doing teshuvah. I hope that he continues to help me to see. As if we don't see them while they're at arm's distance, he's going to bring it, to our doorstep, and then to our body, and we won't like it then. But that's the process that he is made in this place. And it's a wondrous, beautiful creation. Through his infinite mercy and kindness, regardless of whether ignorant and arrogant people can see and understand that or not. It's definitely in our best interest to try to see that. If we don't, we're not going to have any of really taking the rest of the truth into our heart and being able to discern which way to go in order to truly live, let alone just not die. Hope everyone can either start doing teshuva or keep pray grants everyone the strength to keep doing teshuva once they start. May please grant us the strength to overpower Yetzer Hara, that we see that we are severely flawed people, and to work on our character traits and break our anger and our arrogance and our pride and our jealousy and our hatred and every other flawed trait. So eventually one day, with a great deal of his help, we can finally walk the golden middle path, like the Rambam says. Uproot and blot out the name of Amalek from within our own hearts. And have a great level of Yirat Shemayim, of fear of heaven, and great emunah and bitachon, faith and trust that he is all there is out there. There's nothing, absolutely nothing else but him. And Od Milvado.